This webinar is an overview of embedded reporting solution. So this is the today's agenda, and I will be covering all these topics with you. Proceeding with that, I will show you a real-time demo on how to embed the reports that is stored in the enterprise reporting and Gold Reports Cloud. Before moving into the topic, let me see a quick description about an application. A software application runs on a private server or in a cloud, on a Windows-based server or mobile platform. Basically, it is accessible over the internet. This definition of application is in terms of from the developer side. Almost everything we use for development or day-to-day work is nothing but an app. Now let me explain why reporting plays a vital role in every software application or a solution. For this explanation, let me show you a sales software which I have developed in my app and integrated in my domain. So for this, so here I have the embedded.goldreports.com domain in which I have embedded reporting solution. This is actually a embedded reporting solution for my sales software which I have developed in my company. So here you can see we have two reports called the company sales and territory sales. With the sales report, you can able to get the historical data of the sales that has been happened in the period of time, and the report can be extracted in the paginated format. And with this report, you can able to get the clear idea of the sales based on the components, and it can be useful to analyze the data and improve the performance and the productivity in your company. And this data sales will return the sales report based on the region, so that you can filter out the revenue based on the region and focus the sales and the productivity from your side. The right reporting can have a significant impact on an organization. Fundamentally, it's changing the way people perform their jobs and how the decisions are made. It may increase the productivity and the employee satisfaction. It will improve the analysis and decision-making skills. Just imagine that you are developing a product. Let's take an example like the same sales software. One is building a sales software and wish to get the historical sales report like the sales opportunities, new leads, and closed deals. For this, the product CEO decides to build a reporting solution for his product. In general, company follows either one of the two options. Let me go back to the slide and explain you the same. The first option is creating a dedicated IT team to build the reporting application from the scratch. He invested and created that IT team. But after a while, the requirement of the reporting solution is far bigger and complex than building their sales software itself. The second option is getting the licensing software from a reporting vendor, either a cloud vendor or an on-premise vendor. Preferring cloud vendor is also a good option and easy to go, but usually cloud vendor will be charging based on the users count. Again, the team who purchased the software would feel a bit more expensive for a part of their application. And the next option is deploying the reporting solution in the same environment as on-premise, where the app is hosted, and embed the reports that built on the reporting tool into the application directly. This looked to be a prominent solution. Our embedded reporting can be adapted for both these options. Now let us see what is the embedded reporting. The goal of embedded reporting is to view the reports directly from your application. The use between the applications. For a quick idea, let me come back to the same report. Here you can see the reporting solution is directly embedded into my application itself, where if a sales manager or a sales representative came into the sales software and wants to see a report, he don't want to switch into a different application and see the report. And just to see the company sales or the territory sales based on the given filters. So with this, the user experience will be fine and the look and feel will be the same, and the non-IT team can be able to analyze the reports easily. Coming to the second point, it is fully customizable embedded solution where developer can tailor each segment of report, page all of them as designed as the API-based approach. With embedding the report into your application, it would become a single point access for all your needs. For example, If a HR manager want to get the employee report for a selective period, she want to export the data and import that to a third-party reporting tool. For this, she wants to learn the tool and understand the output format, which may slow down her process. User nowadays wants to easily analyze the data in a real time for data-driven decisions. They want to own their data and their data analytics. Embedded reporting makes that ownership possible. Simply saying, anyone can get the reports in readable format without switching to any of the applications whenever they need it. Now let me explain how to set up the embedded reporting and the process of embedding into your applications. It's a simple three-step process. You have to either install or create a tenant for the Bold Reports application. Add users and groups into the report server to form like an organization. And then design the reports with our designer and publish to the server. And finally, embed the desired report into your application with any of the below embedding methods. The reports can be embedded into your application in two ways, mainly the iframe embedding and the deep embedding. The iframe embedding means the report will be rendered inside an iframe, where the authentication will be supplied from the report server. All you need is to just copy the embed code and paste it in your app. The deep embedding means the report viewer component can be placed into your application like the other components such as grid, chart, etc. The reports will be rendered on the go without any further request. We must pause the authentication to render the report securely. The authentication token can be generated via two ways. The first one is the username and password, and the second one is the username and Embed Secret Key. Let me explain in detail in the demo part. And apart from the report we are embedding, we have also provided an option to embed the high-reach report designer into your app directly. With this, you can design and publish the interactive reports right from your application. Additionally, to embed the full functional reporting solution, we have provided the REST API support in the report server application. With this, you can able to list the reports owned by a particular user. You can add reports to the user. You can delete report for a particular user, and you can even schedule the reports for a particular recipients. Let me explain how the iframe embedding can be achieved using the selected report. First of all, you have to log into the application you wish to share the report. Either it may be a cloud tenant or an on-premise tenant, and navigate to the report and click on the share. And after that, click on the get embed code, and inside the embed code, you can customize the embedding options such as report commands and views can be even enabled or disabled from the embedded report. And after that, you just copy the code and paste it directly into the application and run the applications. Once it is done, it will be prompted for login, and you have to log in with the Bold Reports credential. That's all. The reports will be rendered into your application via iframe. Let me show you a short demo on iframe embedding. So here I have a cloud tenant, and in this I just wish to share the company sales report. This share button will be visible only for the owners. So if you are the owner for this particular report, this share button will be visible, and I just click on the share. And getting the embed code. Here you can turn on or off the commands and views, and click on copy. The copy code can be placed in any HTML file or any applications. I'm just pasting it in a default HTML file, which I have already in my system. This HTML file have the basic default HTML tags like the head, body, and all. And I'm just pasting the iframe inside the HTML file and saving it. And once the file is opened, it will be prompted for a login to the Bold Reports application. Yeah. So if you click on the login, it will check for existing authentication. If you have already logged in the same browser, then it will be loaded directly using SSO. just it's checking for the authentication, and since I have already logged in, the reports started to load, and it's rendered now inside the application itself. From this, you can able to even export via the popular formats like PDF, Excel, Word, HTML, etc. And even you can print the reports directly from here. And that's all about the iframe embedding. The only drawback in iframe embedding is the login prompt action. For this, we have enabled two visibilities called the public visibility and private visibility. If you want to hide the login action, you can mark the report as public and embed that report into your application. But anyone with the URL can able to open the report without any user credentials. And the second one is the private visibility, which is the default one. It is accessible to the users and it will definitely count for this will be for the user who has read permission to the specific report. The second approach is the deep embedding. So the main reason for switching to the deep embedding is the login prompt action. So if you use the deep embedding, then the authentication token will be supplied in the backend, and so the reports will be rendered securely without any user interactions. So now let me explain how the deep embedding process will happen. So as described in the flowchart, it's a three-step process. First one is to integrate the board reports component into your app. It may be a cloud tenant or else on-premise tenant. You have to integrate that component into your application, and then you need to refer the necessary resources like scripts, styles that are necessary for rendering the report. And second step is the token generation action, so which is used to render the report securely. It can be generated by two ways. The first one is the username and password, and the second one is the username and embed secret key. And the third major step is the report properties that are required for rendering the report, like the authentication token and the report path with which you want to render in the report your component. Let me show you a short demo of embedding a report using username and password. Consider I want to embed all the reports that are stored in the particular cloud tenant. For this, I am going to design a simple sample which is similar to this. In the left side menu, I will be listing all the reports that are accessible for this particular user, and in the right side tab, you can able to render the selected report. For this, the first part is referring the resources for rendering this report. This can be found in the help documentation link. For this demo, I have created a simple empty web application from the Visual Studio, and in the home controller, I have added an index action. Inside the index action, I am going to refer the resources that are required for rendering this report. I am just copying it from here. And paste it into my application. And below that, I have added a division to place the report viewer component element. And in the document ready, I have added the report viewer component method. So in that, I have initialized the bold report viewer component. For this report viewer, we have to supply the server URL and the service URL, which is described in the slide that it may be a cloud tenant or else on-premise tenant, and you have to pass the service authorization token and the report path that is required to render the report. So let me explain how to take all this from the server side. So in the index action, I have created two parameters called category name and report name to run the reports dynamically. So inside that, I am going to paste the URL from which I want to render the reports. That's the cloud tenant. And the username of that tenant and password of that tenant. Once it is configured, I'm going to generate the token below details. To generate a token based on username and password, we have provided a sample here in the same help documentation link. It will be found under the enterprise developer guide, and here I'm just copying this particular method and paste it over there. So for simplification, I'm just going to the method, and I'm just passing the username and password that is taken from the server side, and this is the token endpoint from which you can able to generate the token. I'm just supplying all these values to the API endpoint, and the result will provide the token that is required for the authentication. Once the token is obtained, I'm just passing the authorization token and the server URL, which is the bold tenant URL slash reporting slash API slash reports. This will be the endpoint for rendering the reports using the cloud APIs. And finally, I'm just passing the list of reports that is accessible for the particular user. This can be obtained from the report server API. As already mentioned, we have exposed a lot of REST APIs to make the report server CRUD operations feasible. So this is the endpoint for getting the reports that are available for the particular user. And to call this endpoint, you need to pass the authentication token in the authorization header, and so the report API will be accessed securely, and the reports that are available for the particular users will be retrieved in the response. And I'm just deselling this object to the readable format and passing that to the server side back and returning to the view file. These are all about the sample which I have developed to embed the application. Let me run this sample and show you how it works in the real time. So if you are embedding this application for a wide range of company, like it has many users means, then you can dynamically change this application to work based on the logged in user and password. So for this, you have to maintain the same username and password for the reposer application as well as the user application. So consider if you are developing a sales software means, the password can be similar, and so you can able to get the password whenever the user logged in, and with this you can supply the credentials to the get authorization token, and the token can be embedded and make the reporting application easily. Let me wait for some time to render this report. Yeah, the report solution sample has been rendered successfully, and you can see in the website the list of reports that are accessible for the particular user is listed here. And if I click on any of the report, this particular report will be rendered in the right side rendering page, and from here you can able to print or export securely. In order to export the report securely, you have to pass the report authorization token in the export helper also. For this, we have added a method called on export click, and in on export click, I have passed the service authorization token to the particular element, and so the reports will be exported securely, and the data that are owned by the particular user will be exported in the desired format. That's all about the reports embedding using authorization token. Consider if you are using any other authentication like OAuth or any other else, then you cannot maintain the same password for report server and your application. To overcome this scenario, we have introduced the Embed Secret Key functionality. So with this Embed Secret Key, you can able to use the single hash key for authenticating all the users. This can be found from the settings page under the Embed tab. If you enable the Embed authentication, then you will get a secret key here. With this, you can able to generate the authorization token in a dynamic way. Since I have already generated the Embed secret key, it is prompting for resetting the secret key. So it is simply a 20-character string, and it is a random string. With this Embed secret key and the username combination, you can able to generate the authorization token. Let me show you a simple sample for that approach also. So this is the similar application in which we are generating the token using this username and the Embed secret key. Let me explain in the end about the difference between the username and password combination and username and Embed secret key combination. Here I am going to embed the same live tenant. The same user and the Embed secret key for this. And the generate token method will be differed for password approach and the Embed secret key approach. The code snippet for generating token using Embed secret key is also available in our help documentation, and I'm just copy pasted the same code in the sample also. So here you can find the same get token method in which we are passing the username, nuns, signature, and the timestamp to make this secure key in a secured manner. And I'm just using the same function in my sample. And here I'm going to pass the token URL, the username, the Embed secret key, and the additional two parameters that are required for generating this Embed secret key. So from this generate token method, you will get a authorization token for the particular user. And with this, I'm going to render this sample. The other functionalities are same as like the username and password approach. The only difference is the authorization token, which can be obtained in a dynamic approach. So the main reason for introducing this approach is to make the embedding solution in a generic way. Suppose if you are using a different authentication approach in your application and we are using a normal authentication means, then it is difficult to save the password for every user and synchronizing the password with both applications. To overcome this, we have introduced this hash key method, and this hash key is unique for all the users, and only you can change the username, and you can generate the password with the single authorization key itself, so that in the runtime you can able to generate the authorization token based on the login username, which can be obtained from the HTTP context itself. Let me show you how it may differ in the based on the users who logged into the application. Yes, now the same sample has been rendered based on the demo user and the Embed secret key which is applied to the particular user, and the reports will be rendered securely like the same approach. So all the functionalities which happened here is similar to the password approach only. Let me show you how it differs from the previous approach and how it is easy to manage based on the dynamic users. Consider I am going to log in with the different user, like the same admin user, and just running this application means then the reports that are available for the Shankar user will be listed there, and those reports will be rendered securely. Since if you are running a large scale application means it will be easier to just pass the username and keeping the embed secret key as unique. Yeah, now the reports has been listed Shankar Lingam user. So it's a simpler way to make this application in dynamic based one, so that the reports can be varied based on the user easily. So if I run the ticket sales analysis, it will be rendered in here. So that's all about the embedding based on username and password and the username and embed secret key. The same approach is followed for the on-premise also. The only difference in the sample is the report your endpoints. So here the cloud is single tenant, and so we are directly accessing the report viewer component. Since on-premise is a multi-tenant application, we need to pass the tenant name in the URL, whereas the site slash site1, which is the tenant identifier for my on-premise app, and in the token generation is also I'm going to change the URL. So that's all the thing I need to change. And if I pass the on-premise details here, it will be rendered based on the on-premise app. So both the samples will be available in the help documentation link also, and also we will upload this sample in the YouTube video of later on the webinar session. You can download it from there. Let me move on to the next topic. So apart from embedding the report viewer, now let us see how to embed the report designer app into the application. So with this method, the report server do not prompt to log in whenever you design or publishing the report. It is a simple three-step process, as like the report viewer embedding. You need to integrate the report tenant, either it may be a cloud or on-premise, and you need to refer the resources that are required to design the reports, and finally you need to integrate the report service into the application right away. Let me explain you how the sample can be generated with this. Let me move on to the same sample, and here I have added a new controller for designer, and in the designer I'm going to pass the same credentials which I used for viewer part, and I'm using the same generate token approach to generate the token, since it's changed for on-premise. I'm just reverting the changes, and now the listener control is ready to access based on the cloud live tenant, and the token is generated based on the embed secret key approach. Then let us move on to the view file where we are going to add the designer. So this is the v file I have just added for placing the report designer file. In this I just need to pass the report server URL and report service URL. This report server URL is the URL from which you are going to publish the report, either it may be a cloud or an on-premise tenant, and the report service URL is the service through which you are going to design the report. This is the default endpoint for all the cloud tenants. that is the service.boldreports.com. With this, you can able to contact the report service and design the reports in your design way. And then I'm going to refer the resources that are required for the report designer page. This can be found from the help documentation link itself. And I'm just pasting the report designer element, and rendering the report designer with the report service URL and the authorization token. So with this authorization token, the report designer will work securely, and the data can be published to the desired tenant without any data flaw. Let me run this sample and show you how this works. So I'm just changing the credentials to the demo user account in the viewer part. So let us wait to load the application in the sample browser. So here also, like the same report viewer, if you want to embed the report designer using on-premise tenant, you have to change the particular endpoint alone, so that the APIs will be contacted based on the supplied tenant URL. So that's the major difference between the viewer and designer, and all the applications will be working securely using the authorization token. Now I'm just navigating to the designer page. Yeah, the interactive report designer has been open right into your application itself. From this, you can able to generate a report with the data that is available in the cloud server. I'm just using the invoice data which is already there, and with this invoice data, I'm just going to design the report. I have the RID field in this particular data, and I'm just removing the remaining columns. Just naming the particular column, and going to add a text box. Yeah, I just finished designing this report, and it can be previewed from the report designer itself. Yeah, you can able to cross verify the details in the preview window, and you can able to export or print right from here itself. I'm just closing this preview and going to save this report. Here you have two options. If you decide to save this report in audio format to a local device, you can choose the 2 device option. Or if you want to publish to the connected report server, you can choose the 2 server method. So with this, you will be listed with the list of categories that are available for the particular user. Here I have a sample reports category, and inside that I'm going to save this report with demo test invoice, and if I click on save, it's done. The design report will be published to the report server, and right from your sample you can able to see the report that is published to the report server. Yeah, here you can see the demo test invoice, and if you click on the report, it will be rendered inside the report service action. Now let us come back to the slide and summarizing the embedded reporting. So embedded reports purposes and why the embedded reporting will be a prominent solution for you. Let us discuss about this here. So the embedded reports lives within the same environment. If a customer deploys your application on the cloud, whether it may be a public or private, the embedded report is deployed with it. If the application is deployed on-premise, the embedded report is on-premise too. We let you take the complete ownership in branding the Bold Report server for your organization. The look and feel of Bold Reports application is flexible and complete enough to represent your organization. Embedded Reports operates with single sign-on, and so the users don't want to log into the report server again. Users who have access to the data in an application can visualize and analyze the data as well. Embedded reporting does not charge based on users. It is just a flat monthly fee per application, simple and predictable. No per customer or per user charges ever. We can even customize the pricing based on the business needs. Simply, it is an easy to use reporting application. Now let me explain you the benefits of using this embedded reporting. As already said, the reports can be embedded securely. Not just the report embedding, it also includes the customization, designer embedding via redistribute plan. We can maintain the data isolation based on the user who is logged into the application. For example, you are distributing your application for various companies and all of their data is stored in a single database. In such case, user from companies A data should not be visible to the user in company B. With the embedded reports and user-based filter concept, it's possible to isolate the data based on the login user. With the REST API support, you can create a recurring schedule alerts for the recipients right from your application. The exporter report will be sent into your mailbox at the scheduled time. Thank you, everyone.